Angelle is from Eunice, and she is a graduate of St. Edmund High School. Thank you, Miss Angelle.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you, Leslie, for inviting me. Thank you for the rice and gravy. I enjoy a good rice and gravy. Okay, as she said, my name is Angelle Bellard, and I'm the education coordinator at Faith House, which means this is primarily what I do. I educate the public, especially schools, children of all ages, about domestic violence, teen dating violence, the bullying behavior, so on and so forth. What we want to do is get the message out and about on just how prevalent domestic violence truly is. It's not a favorite subject. It's not a fun subject. Nobody wants to walk up to me and ask me, hey, you work at Faith House? Tell me more about domestic violence. I never get that. So when I'm invited to situations like this, I thoroughly enjoy it. That gives her a good bit of information about Faith House and its services. If she finds that she can safely get out of her abusive situation, this can help give her the courage that she needs. That phone number on there, which she can reach us, whether the Lafayette location, the St. Andrew location, or the statewide crisis number, any of those numbers are going to be great sources of information for her. As you see on the back, it says the services provided. We do have a 24-hour crisis line, 7 days a week, rain or shine, even hurricanes. We have someone manning the phones and answering all calls. We do provide a shelter. It's a very safe and secure and private location where a woman who is going through a situation, if she feels that if she leaves, she will be homeless and or in danger, so she can come and stay at the shelter free of charge. She can stay with us for up to 45 days longer if necessary, and we'll provide anything that this woman needs in order to get back on her feet. Her children are allowed to come with her as well. We have non-residential services as well. So we have offices in the Crowley area, which would serve Acadia Parish, Vermilion Parish, St. Landry, Vermilion, and then of course, Lafayette as well. And we've just added on 2 more parishes, of Voiles and Rapides. So we cover 7 different parishes, so we're quite busy. Any kind of social service agency that can help provide a woman anything for either free of charge or on a sliding scale, we do partner up with as much as possible. We do not charge anything for any of the services that we offer. We are funded by grants, we are funded by government monies, private donations, so on and so forth. Legal assistance is one of the hardest things we possibly can get for a woman, especially a woman who was never allowed to work, so she has no money of her own. Once she separates from her abuser, she's pretty much on her own and out of luck as far as money is concerned. So she wants to get a divorce from this person. That's a hard thing for her to do, to find a lawyer who's willing to do it for free or do it for a minimal cost. So if there are any gracious lawyers in this room, we would certainly appreciate your help. Children's program, we have a very extensive children's program where we work with the children one-on-one and in group settings. We provide them with a playroom to where they can just come and be normal kids. Nobody's yelling at them, nobody's screaming, nobody's trying to harm them. It's a very safe place for them to be, and we find that children, more than the women, their mothers, adjust to the shelter life far easier because of that. Now they know that they're in a safe place. We even so much as had a little boy who, I think he was 7 years old. He would keep a few minutes of time on his pay-as-you-go phone, and he would sleep with it on his chest at home because he never knew when he had to call 911. So once he got to the shelter, he was excited because he could use his minutes now. He didn't have to worry about calling, for his mother's safety. I personally go into the schools in all parishes, so I'm very busy, and I work with kids on bullying, how to turn the other cheek, and how to rise above, which is a hard thing to learn, especially a child who's been in an abusive home where you don't turn the other cheek, you hit the other cheek. I also work with teenagers on trying to get them to recognize the signs of an abuser before going into an abusive relationship, or if they are already in an abusive relationship, which that happens way too often, and especially here in Eunice, how to safely get out of it. A person who is in an abusive relationship, once they try to remove themselves from the relationship, the abuser is going to try and retaliate. They're going to try and get them back by using charm and manipulation, or by using threats and actual death. Louisiana, unfortunately, ranks number 3 in the nation for the number of deaths that are due to intimate partner violence, and that could range in any ages from 15 on up to 90s. You will see bystanders, You will see children, you will see men, as well as women. The next few pages, I gave you a little bit of information about domestic violence and what it is centered around. The first is the power and control wheel. A lot of people think, oh, it's because he's an alcoholic or he's a drug addict. That's why he abuses her. I know many drug addicts and I know many alcoholics, and they're happy-go-lucky people. They do not abuse people. So it's about power and control. Granted, if they are alcoholics and drug addicts, it does add an extra element that lowers their inhibitions. However, it's about a person wanting to have power and control over their partner and or a whole family. You may think, okay, I want to help, but I don't know how. I don't know how to address this problem. So these are just some little pointers on what to do, how to work with someone. First thing we want to definitely insist on is never ask somebody, well, what did you do to make him do that to you? See, anybody in here who wants to feel responsible for somebody hurting them? Anybody want to feel guilty for someone verbally, physically, sexually, financially abusing? So when we ask somebody that, we're putting that burden upon her shoulders, making her feel as though she's the reason that he abuses, when the reason is the abuser makes that choice. So we never want to ask why a woman stays in a relationship like that, because we're also putting the burden upon her shoulders again, because you're making it sound like it's as easy as, oh, well, I'll just leave. It's not that easy. The question should be instead of what? Anybody have a clue? Instead of asking, well, why don't you just leave? We should direct our question at someone else. Who should it be?
Well, it'd be the abuser.
Towards the abuser. So the question should be something like,
Why don't he leave?
yeah, if she's so bad, why don't you go? Leave her alone. If she can't live up to these unrealistic expectations you keep placing upon her, why don't you just leave her instead of harming her? Again, we're not going to pass judgment. We're not going to tell you what you need to do. We're here for you every step along the way. And when you feel the time is right, when you feel you are safe enough, when you feel, you know, that you're able to leave, then we're still going to be here for you.
Y'all assist like the elderly? Like I've had a couple of renters where I've rented to the elderly and their sons have moved in, and you know, we've noticed abuse and we've actually had to run the sons off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still domestic violence.
That's not just couples.
It's still within the family, so it's still domestic and it's still violence against somebody. So absolutely, we'll definitely help with that. It's you know, it's a different dynamic because it's elder abuse, but we will still provide as much services, and we'll find other resources for them as well. But yeah, I've heard of that before as well, for sure.